video, I wanted to go through the top 3 back pain relief stretches. And I'll get Donna Lee to demonstrate the first one, and then I'll go through each of them in detail. Perfect. That's what it is. It ends up being the 90-90 hip flexor stretch. So looking at how Donna Lee's set up, you saw her move from standing into a 90-90 position. So the front leg's at 90, back leg's at 90. She's focusing on having that foot flat, and then she wants the knees, the left knee in line with the left hip, the right knee in line with the right hip. And then what she's doing is tightening up the abdominal area, tightening up the glutes, and then moving her hips forward, and she's looking for a light stretch. You can go from the knee all the way up into the low back area. And she's going to hold that light stretch for a good 20 seconds, and then she's going to move to the other side. And you're going to go 2 times on each side, alternating back and forth, holding for 20 seconds, looking for a light stretch. So this ends up being a great back pain relief stretch, and ends up being my favorite when it comes to a back pain relief stretch. Now going into the second one, Donna Lee's going to lie on her back, and that first one that I went through, it really targets the hip flexors, psoas, iliacus, and those tend to be 2 muscles that tend to tighten up when it comes to back pain. Now with this one, we're doing rotate legs in and out. Yep. So Donna Lee's lying on her back. She's going to rotate the legs, kind of focusing at the thighs, rotating out and then rotating in. And with this one, you're going to do 5 repetitions each way. And you're going to a point where you're getting light resistance. You're not forcing it through. You're just going back and forth, rotating back and forth 5 times each direction. So it's a total of 10 movements. And you're trying to go a little further with each repetition. And with this one, you're not going to feel as strong of a stretch as you did with the first one. With this one, we're just really trying to be really specific and target the hip rotators, which tend to be tight with back pain. So we want to loosen up those hip rotators so they end up putting less stress on the low back. Now moving on to the third one, open and close. So Donna Lee is going to move onto her side. Good. Bending at the knees, yep. Bending at the knees, bending at the hips. Arms, one arm straight, other arm is straight. And then she's going to open up. Bring that arm back. Try to go back as far as she can. So she's kind of locked in this lower part. And then she's opening up with the top part. Good. And then coming back. And then what she's doing here is she's loosening up that mid-back area, which is what we want to do. And she might be getting a light stretch in the front of the chest, in the arm as well, and we're working on improving that mobility in that mid-back area. So a lot of times with back pain, your mid-back ends up being stiff, and your hips end up being stiff. And what happens is, in order for the spine to move properly, some area has to give way. And a lot of times, if the mid-back is stiff, the hips are stiff, the part of the spine that ends up giving way ends up being that low back area. So what we want to do is loosen up that mid-back area so it ends up taking on more movement and putting less stress on that low back area. So what Donna Lee would end up doing is 5 repetitions one side and then 5 repetitions the other side. And she's opening up and she's kind of coming to a hold for a couple seconds, as far as she can, couple seconds, 1, 2, and then coming back to the start. And then 5 one side, 5 the other, and then she can end up progressing to 10 on each side. But we're really trying to focus on the mobility, loosening up that mid-back area in order to help provide low back pain relief. Perfect. Thanks, Donna Lee. So there you go. Give those 3 stretches a go when it comes to helping with your back pain relief.